What brought you to becoming unafraid in the unknown? Maybe something in your personal life. Maybe it is just this curiosity about the unknown, or maybe it's something global. My name is Danielle YS, and I have spent so much of my life walking into the unknown in the world outside of me. When I was in college, my dream was to become an astronaut and go to the ultimate unknown space. But as I was walking that path, I started to realize that there was something that felt like it was missing. At the end of university, I was forced into diving into the unknown inside of me. That's where my journey really deepened and began on this path of embracing the unknown as fertile ground for anything to happen. My mantra is, the unknown is where all outcomes are possible. Enter it with grace. The unknown is where all outcomes are possible. Enter it with grace. Now, what I see most often people doing in the unknown is that we try to control it. We try to move through the unknown in a way that feels safe for us, and it feels like we are in control. What that looks like is usually we try to stay busy or hold on to everything that we do know. We do more. We take on more responsibility. We read more books. We do more meditation. We take more time for ourselves to just try to hold on. It is this idea, what I like to call mooring ourselves, MOREING, that gets us feeling stuck in the unknown and prevents us from actually entering the unknown with grace, recovering those opportunities that are available to us within the unknown. Just like a boat on its mooring in the middle of a safe harbor, all that boat can do is spin in circles. When we try to be more, learn more, adjust more to this new reality that's coming through, we just get ourselves moving in circles. Feels like we're doing something and it feels like we're moving forward, but often we're just digging ourselves deeper into a rut. Boats were not meant to stay in safe harbor, right? They're meant to go out into open ocean and to explore what is out there. It's the same with humans. We're not meant to stay in this safe harbor, moored onto safety of knowing, of certainty, of control. So instead, what we need to do in order to become unafraid in the unknown and to find those gifts and opportunities within the unknown is to unmoor ourselves and allow ourselves to go into the unknown with curiosity, calm, and courage. And that is what I love to teach my people. This is what I believe is so important for the world to learn as well, because when we learn to go into the unknown and the discomfort that is inherent in the unknown, that is when we can start to dissolve all of the boundaries that come between you and me, us and them. And those boundaries, those separations are what I believe and I see as the root causes of all the pain, suffering, darkness, and wars happening in our world right now. And so that's why it's so important for me to show up in this moment and share with all of you what I have found to be the steps to take to move into the unknown with grace, ease, courage, and playfulness. Yes, it can be playful. One of the people who attended one of my talks a while back said, can it really be playful and fun to go into the unknown and the uncertainty? And that is one of the hallmarks of the way that I approach this. It's fun, it's playful, it's an adventure. It is a way for us to come back to who we really deeply are, something that I call the soul signature, which I'll talk about a little bit later. What I see in the unknown is that we tend to moor ourselves in safe harbor. We try to control our way out of the unknown, and that is interrupting the cycle meant to evolve. When I was doing research at NASA, I was studying the origins of evolution. I was in a lab working with algae and applying stress to those algae to see how they responded and when their evolutionary pathways got activated. One thing that I discovered that was really cool and has really informed the work that I do now, working with the edge of the unknown, is that there is a threshold of stress, of discomfort, of that uncertainty in which evolution can occur, and it's something that we can deposit ourselves into. It's something that we can activate, and most of us don't. Most of us wait for something big to happen. If any one of you has ever gone through a big loss or a life transition or an identity shift or anything that feels like a wake-up call, that is the universe waking you up. And that is also the universe pushing you right up to that edge of evolution so that you cannot ignore it anymore. But what I found is this spectrum exists between no evolution, no stress, and being pushed fully to the edge of evolution and shutting down. When I was working at NASA, the research that we were doing was applying stress to algae by using heat. Too little heat and nothing would occur. There was not enough stress for evolution to activate. Too much heat and the algae cells would die. But right in this middle zone where there was enough stress, enough heat to have them respond, that was where evolution got activated. We don't have to wait for the universe to say, wake up. And we also don't have to moor ourselves in safe harbor so that nothing ever happens because we're so safe and so comfortable and everything is so known. Now, this is why I firmly believe that the unknown is where all outcomes are possible. This is what I call the discomfort advantage, where enough discomfort allows us to evolve. Enough discomfort allows us to reveal what is meant to be revealed because that stress is there. Now, when we moor ourselves, we're interrupting this process of evolution that is meant to enable that evolution to occur through stress and discomfort. With the algae, the way that they responded to the stress was changing. They were actually becoming more resilient and more tolerant to the stress. With humans, we are evolving into our next version of ourselves, our next version of consciousness. This is the discomfort advantage, where we have this spectrum from no evolution to way too much stress. Nothing can happen because I'm totally shut down. Where if we come into this zone of evolution, that's where the magic can occur. That's where we can enter the unknown with grace and really step into our own evolution of consciousness to come back to our deeper whole selves. Again, that's the soul signature. I'll talk about that in a little bit. That's the discomfort advantage. That is what I truly deeply believe that we all need to access and embody. I want to make a note here that oftentimes there's this discussion of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, which then either makes us grit our teeth and push through that challenge and the discomfort, which is just mooring ourselves. Or on the flip side of it, it leads us to bypassing by saying, I'm going to let go and just let it all happen to me. The discomfort advantage. It's really about fully seeing it for what it is. When discomfort happens, when the unknown happens, and basically putting on our scientist cap and saying, what's here for me? How can I get curious about this thing that's arriving so that I can release what I don't need anymore and come back to who I actually am deep inside? Does that make sense? We are not bypassing and we are not pushing through when we are working with the discomfort advantage. It's really about being in this middle place, seeing things for what they are, which is an invitation into evolution as well as the pathway to evolution. I have two other things that I wanted to share with you in terms of these pillars of becoming unafraid in the unknown. The first pillar being the discomfort advantage. That discomfort is not meant to destroy you. It's meant to uplevel you. It's not a problem that we need to solve. It is actually a portal to evolution. The second pillar of becoming unafraid of the unknown, in my experience from the journey I've walked for myself, as well as the journey that I've walked alongside so many of my clients, is what I like to call the law of integration. The law of integration says you don't need to do more and you don't need to do less. You need to integrate your experience. What I found with the discomfort advantage is that when we are so full of experiences, of wisdom, of expertise, of certifications, of programs, of everything that comes to us through the world, oftentimes that is a tipping point into discomfort, into burn out into the unknown because we're ready to integrate everything back together. And so it often feels like we want to hold on to all those pieces when we are in the unknown because those are the stable parts of ourselves and of our identities. But what we're really being asked to do with our evolution is to be discerning about what parts we're holding that we want to continue taking with us or are called and meant to be taking, and what we can release so that we can have the space and the time to weave and integrate all those pieces together. If you're doing it uncomfortable to do it uncomfortable and push through, that's that mooring energy where we're mooring ourselves and pushing and moving around just that mooring in safe harbor. If we're allowing the discomfort to be there, sitting with the discomfort and being curious about it, especially within our bodies and how it's showing up in our soma, skin and muscles and energy, that is where our insight can occur, can surface for us. So imagine if we go back into that metaphor of the boat and going into open ocean. When you're in safe harbor as a boat, that safe harbor is shallow. That's partially why it's safe. It's protected. There isn't too far in that you can dive, and there isn't that much that's going to challenge us into growth or into evolution. But if we unmoor ourselves and let ourselves flow into the unknown with curiosity and courage, then we get into deeper and deeper waters, right? Both exciting, magical, and can be terrifying because it's open ocean. We don't know what's out there. This is a metaphor for ourselves. When we unmoor and allow ourselves to go into the discomfort and the unknown within us, then we start to get access to the open ocean of ourself. It's uncomfortable and it's also magical. When we can sit with the discomfort of being in that open ocean of everything that we are, we get access to the deeper depths of what's available inside of us. We can dive in to the unknown inside of ourselves. And then in that space where we're in the unknown, if we're able to sit with the discomfort long enough for the somatic aspect of that discomfort to release, that's where we find this beautiful, still, peaceful place. I'm sure so many of you have found this in your meditation practices. That's where we find that still, peaceful place where insight can arise from those depths. It's like it's bubbling up to the surface because we've cleared a path for it to be there. Whereas if we are not able to sit with the discomfort, the contraction in our bodies around that discomfort to try to hold it or control it or not feel it prevents us from experiencing or being able to access those deeper insights that are wanting to arise. So it's this beautiful mechanism or system that's been created within us, that the discomfort is there to show us that there's something that wants to arise. The unknown is there to surface or invite that discomfort into our lives because there's something that's wanting to arise. When we try to control the discomfort, we are contracted around it and we don't get access to that deeper insight. But when we sit with the discomfort, allow that discomfort to be there and to dissipate naturally, that's where we've cleared a path for insight to arise. That insight, that deeper knowing, that self, is what I call the soul signature. So the first pillar of becoming unafraid in the unknown is the discomfort advantage. Discomfort is not a problem that we need to fix. It is a portal to our next evolution. The second pillar is the law of integration. You've done so much research, you've gathered so much data, so much information, so much experience, and now you're ready to integrate it. You don't need to do more and you don't need to do less, which oftentimes looks like taking a break if our discomfort is surfacing as burnout or exhaustion. You need to integrate your experience because you are the only person in the world who can integrate your experience, expertise, wisdom, and insights the way you do. And the world needs your expertise, your experience, and your insights woven together in your unique tapestry. When we experience discomfort or face the edge of an unknown, it is because we are ready for the next evolution. The universe is never going to give us something that we are not ready. It's not. I see some thank yous in the chat. Beautiful, Zanvar. Thank you. So you are ready for your next evolution, and the world is in need of your next evolution. That's why it's so important for us to be able to sit with that discomfort so that those insights and messages can arise for us, which allows us to weave together, to integrate our knowledge and experience and express it in what I like to call the soul signature. The third pillar of becoming unafraid in the unknown is this soul signature. I know I've mentioned it a couple of times. In the astrobiology world, so I used to be an astrobiologist. That's why I was working at NASA, effectively looking for life out there in the universe and answering that prehistoric question that we have of, are we alone? But in the astrobiology universe, there is a term called a biosignature, and it's what a lot of astrobiologists are looking for out in the rest of the universe. It's basically a signature that shows that biology exists on another planetary body, which is how we might know that there's something else out there. So I like to look at the soul signature as proof that your soul is there and expanding. It is a signature because it is yours alone and truly individual and authentic to you. It's your snowflake, right? No two snowflakes are the same, and it is your soul's snowflake. So becoming unafraid of the unknown is a pathway to coming back to this soul signature, to the reason that we have come into this body, into this moment in time, into this lifetime. It is your big why, as well as your unique way of bringing your perspective, your transformation, your message into the world. Now, with my clients, this takes a lot of different forms. When I'm working with coaches, oftentimes it becomes their message, their modality, or their movement. But when I'm working with folks who are not necessarily building a business, maybe it looks something like choosing to become a mother or a parent, choosing to follow their own path rather than the path that they have been led down by their family or community. Or maybe it's choosing to follow their dream rather than to follow their head or the money or the accolades or the check boxes that society has told us to check in our lives. The soul signature, when we uncover it, becomes so strong and so essential to us and to our lives, we can't help but follow it and to take that path, because that is the path that we were actually really deeply meant to take in this world and in this lifetime. So that's also why I think that this work is so important, because it's why you're here. It's why each of us is here on this planet. And the unknown is such a beautiful place. And the unknown is where all outcomes are possible. Enter it with grace. The unknown becomes such a magical place. It's a way for us to uncover our soul signature. But then at the same time, none of us knows what that soul signature is really going to turn out to be, right? It's this magical journey where maybe we think that we're on a particular route to a particular destination, and the universe has its own beautiful direction and path and journey for us in place. That is the essence of becoming unafraid in the unknown. It's not about having control in the unknown. It's not about knowing what's going to come out of walking into the unknown. It's about being so fully present and so fully open to whatever the universe has in store for us that we can walk into the unknown with deep trust that whatever is going to arise is what needs to arise for us, for the world, for the species, for the universe. So these are the steps to becoming unafraid in the unknown. It's not about control, and it's not about becoming like this brave Hercules. It's about really becoming fully ourselves. That's the work that I do with my clients, and that's the work that I love doing so deeply, because who wouldn't love doing something that's so magical? It's just a beautiful journey. When the unknown hits us, usually our nervous systems contract a bit, and it gets us into this place where we need or want to have control. So we more ourselves, and then we end up spinning around in circles in that safe harbor because it's safe, but it's not where we're meant to be. Step number one is that discomfort advantage. Discomfort is not a problem that we need to fix. It is a portal into our next evolution. From there, we get to the law of integration that says when something creates discomfort in our lives and creates a state of unknown in our lives, that's really a signal that you're ready to evolve and ready to weave together your knowledge, your wisdom, your expertise, rather than continuing to moor yourself. And then once we do those, walk through those two pieces of the path, we can gain access to that soul signature that rises up naturally. What are you here to do in this lifetime? What is it that your soul is longing to express in the world? And these are the steps that we walk to walk into the unknown. And it's a cycle. We do this over and over again because what is life but a series of moments of being in the unknown? The present moment is completely unknown. The future is unknown. The past is known, but it doesn't actually exist anymore. What exists is right here in this moment. And if we can learn to be within the unknown in this moment, then we can learn to be with the unknown in any moment, no matter what is happening. And that's why I am so passionate and honored as well as humbled by this work to be able to walk this path. Has this been helpful for you? Have you learned something or gained something from being in this space together? I'm so happy to be able to be here and to be able to share it with you. And, this is the work that I do. This is what I'm passionate about. This is my own soul signature coming through of walking through discomfort and being in the unknown so that we can be fully present to our lives and to ourselves. And if this feels like something that is resonating deep inside of you, then this work is calling to you. Book some time with me and dive into your own soul signature and see where you are maybe mooring yourself within this process of the unknown. It's a totally free call, and it's a service that I provide to be able to share this work with the world and to dive deeper and identify where your next right step is for you. I am sending you all so much gratitude and so much love, and I hope to see you all very, very soon.